So the age old question is, what am I doing with my life, right? If you're in your mid 20s, if you're in your early 30s, the question starts to become about a lot more close, a lot more immediate as you go through your years of life. And when you finish college, or when you're at 25, is when you start to have that transition, or at least I'm speaking from experience, where when I finished my master's degree back in 23, I started to enjoy life a bit harder. I was going out with my friends. I was enjoying life, screwing around, X, Y, and Z's, traveling too. And then once I turned 25 was when I was like, wait, hold on, this is it? Like, I'm just gonna screw around and like hope for the best or whatever? Like, what about starting a family? What about buying a house? What about being stable independently, right? And dealing with family problems that are out of control, but yet you're involved just because you just connected to them, right? And so the idea of this video is, what am I doing with my life? And it's important to ask yourself this question too, right? Like, what are you doing with your life? Are you the type that you went to college to do your thing? Are you the type that went straight to the workforce? Are you the type that went to the army? Are you the type that is just screwing around? Eventually, sooner or later, like, this question will get into your head. It will start first and it comes to mind, and you're gonna ask yourself, what is life? What am I doing with my life? What is the next step? And so that's the idea of this video. How I experienced it was, okay, I've gone out a lot, I've traveled, what now? It's always that question, like, what now is the question you ask yourself. What's next? What else am I pushing towards? And that's the thing. Like, we have the ability to think independently. Free will is what they call it, and have our own way to go towards a certain direction in life. And the issue is that, towards where, right? And so I like to think of it like this, be able to work just enough to have yourself like a strong basis to build whatever it is you want in life off of it. In other words, I've been working since I was 18. I've been saving a lot of money since I was of that age. I've always tend to live below my means. I always tend to not always go out as often anymore. And when I did, I was also very cognizant of like how much I spent per night out. And I want to say it worked out for the best. I had my experiences to screw around, and now I'm trying to lock in. And so I've built a good basis where I have enough time, I have enough energy, I have a good amount of health to explore certain topics. Topics like, if I want to go traveling, then I have the health to do so, I have the money to do so, and I have the time to do so because I'm not tied down to any responsibilities here in the US, or not as much responsibilities, because obviously I'm a grown adult. I have certain things I need to take care of before I enjoy my life. And that basis that you build, at risk of sounding a bit redundant, is where you build confidence. And that's another part that people always ask me, like, hey, like, how do you grow the confidence to do whatever you want? Cold approaching is one of it. I'm still trying to get used to it. It's still hard, but at least you have the confidence to say, like, I can do it. Now let me just do it, right? And then, trust me, it gets easier as you do it. You start to become outcome independent, but that's a different story. Confidence is built on the results that you have gotten throughout the years, and that's where everybody should be. If you want to be confident in fighting, then you need to go through the hard regimen that your coach does, have one-on-one sessions, have sparring sessions. All of that builds confidence. And think about it, like, once you put in the hours to gain the respect from other people, you start to respect yourself too, and you start to understand that you should be confident in your abilities. And this applies to other parts of life, like work. You need to put in the hours to put in work. You put in enough hours to show results that other people respect. You should respect too eventually, and that's how you build confidence. So I just talked about building confidence and learning how to fight. It could be a Muay Thai, whatever. Building confidence at work. You need to build certain projects that have panned out positively overall, and you are proud that you built that and other people respect it. And of course, your own financial abilities, right? You can't just go out there and spend whatever you make, right? You need to have a strong basis, and that affects your psychology after a while. Like, that when you look at a price tag, you don't feel like the ick, you don't feel like the subconscious, the thing that goes off in your head, the intuition that says, hey, like this is too much, or hey, this is it. Like as you have enough money, enough disposable income, a lot more expensive seems to be a bit more on the okay. It's an easier to absorb type of expense, and it's important because it speaks to your financial peace. It speaks to how well you have your life organized. And of course, certain people have a certain way of dealing with their finances, and I suppose that's fine as long as the end goal is to be financially. And there are certain steps they need to take get to that spot. Just know that it's not easy. It's pretty. So that's part of the topic that I wanted to discuss about when it comes to what am I doing with my life. Good way to have it. A good way to have your mindset is to put it in your abilities to do certain things, whether it be cold approaching, whether it may at work. Eventually, you start to get confident in whatever it is you're doing because you have put enough hours into it. Good enough to showing. And so, when it comes to the question, what am I doing with my life? The best way to answer that question is indirect. What are you doing right now that puts you in a stronger position than yesterday? What are you doing right now that in a year or two from now you're unrecognizable to a certain extent? And for the short term, put in the hours. You need to put in the hours. Like I'm able to travel. I'm able to do whatever I want for the most part because I have I've worked since I was little. I have enough energy. I have like the intuition. I have the financial resources to say, okay, like I'm gonna spend 2-3 weeks abroad and to go screw around because I've earned it. And that's a good. I think that's a good healthy way to justify certain. I've earned it. I've done certain things. It's within my budget. Mind you, other people are really against it. Other people will say, dude, like you shouldn't be spending this money. You should go to work and try to figure it out. And to a certain extent, I guess that's true. It's all about what you value the most, right? You want to be valued on certain things that are based on other people's perspective or based on what you think is perspective and what's important to you, right? And so, mind you, other people have lived different experiences than you, and of course, their opinions will be different, and it's always important to evaluate and balance out if their opinion is important to or applicable to what you're thinking. But mind you, you are in control of your life. You have your own financial resources available to you. You have your own confidence that you'll be able throughout the years. And when it's time to show up and do the work, be confident and be available that you are able to it. And alright then, fellas, that's pretty much my shortest way to cover what am I doing with my life. The best way to answer it is indirectly nowadays. Have the confidence to do certain things in your life. I want to say that is step one to answering this question. You want to be able to comfortably and confidently say that you can do certain things with your life. Eventually push towards the final destination or the destination. Alright then, fellas.